All right, so some of you guys may be familiar with self realization. So I'm going to kind of tap into that. But today's conversation is mostly just about the new earth. Okay, so for those of you who are already attuned to this frequency, you already know what time it is. For those of you who may not feel like this resonates, well, you can still stick around and listen, and your consciousness will catch up at some point. So I've been exploring this concept of time and past lives for quite some time, for several years. There's something really significant about 2025. It really it shaped the way that I now view things. So I stepped into 2026. The new year begins on March 20th. Keep that in mind. I stepped into 2026 with this totally new concept of self, like how I see myself and how I see the world around me and the physical things within this world. So, for instance, money. I was thinking about it and I'm like, hold on. Money is just something someone made up, and everyone pretty much just jumped on the bandwagon and said, we're going to roll with this. So why can't we do that same thing with every aspect of this life? The thing about this life that I realize, and quite interesting enough, the people that I've been around lately, um, they've shaped the way that I see life, right? They've shaped the way that I see myself for sure. And when I say myself, I don't mean in the terms of self-esteem. I mean more so in the terms of capacity. What can I do? What can everybody do? And I think that is so interesting because when we talk about New Earth, right? I'm thinking to myself, well, technically, we don't have to wait for all of humanity to catch up. For those of us who are actively building the New Earth, we can simply build how we want to build, and people catch up when they catch up, just like they did with money, right? Now, I'm thinking back to this time when I was a little girl and I became aware of the fact that something about living in this body wasn't necessarily my default mode of functioning. This isn't my normal state. And that awareness, especially as a little girl, can be very conflicting because there's nobody there to explain things like this to you or to even think that you're sane. People are going to think you're out of your fucking mind when you start talking about past lives and, having prophetic dreams, and you know what I mean? And so I feel like at an early age, I started to reject certain parts of my consciousness that were pretty much already there at birth. And that's more because this life is just adjacent to all the other lives that I've had, right? It's not like a timeline, a linear timeline. It's really just like a big cycle of life in general. And so this kind of helps me to ease into the idea that I had as a little girl where I was laying in my bed one night and I was thinking to myself, wait a minute, I'm just going to die one day and everybody's going to forget about me and I'm just going to be in a box? That's crazy. The reason why I feel completely at peace with death is because I recognize that death is not death. Nothing dies. Energy cannot be destroyed. So, me being able to access quote unquote past lives, which again, I really feel are just a series of experiences that I'm having parallel to this one. It's not unbelievable to me that some of us, not all, some of us are completely conscious of our previous selves, okay? How we chose to express ourselves in different bodies, the lifestyles that we had, the experiences that shaped us. And this is why some of us are completely aware of when we're gonna die, quote unquote, right? But truly, I don't believe in a quote unquote death. Because again, if energy can't be destroyed, you simply release your consciousness from your physical body, but your consciousness does not cease to exist. Hmm. I told multiple people years ago that I knew when I was going to die, and they thought I was tripping. And some of you, maybe not. I recognize that I'm having a very rare experience, but some of you may feel that sense of, I know when my time is coming, I know when the end is for me. And that could be a reflection of why you have this sense of urgency. Again, it's not going to be for everybody. But all that being said, let me just circle back to why 2026 is so crucial and so pivotal for a lot of us. Well, for those of us who are world builders, because we finally get to see the fall of false leaders. 2026 is a 1 year in numerology. One is the beginning. So if you think of the concept of the beginning, Genesis, this is the beginning of a fresh new light. So anything that we experienced in the old paradigm no longer has power or purpose in this new paradigm. So false leaders and even false prophets, okay? They one and the same. They will be exposed and dealt with in 2026. This is a big cultural shift. And a lot of us, those of us who have been anxiously waiting for this time to come, it almost feels surreal, but also I know that we feel completely rooted and excited for what's about to unfold, even though there's all this mayhem around us. Really, we have to go back to that consciousness that we spoke about over and over again when we're working with the law of assumption activity, the exercise that I did last summer. Where focus goes, that's where your energy is going to flow. If you try to focus on things that are outside of your control, you're going to constantly feel out of control. You're going to constantly feel agitated by the earth experience that you're having. Now, I'm not saying turn off your humanity, but what I am saying is you have to make a decision. What am I going to focus on? Because I recognize that whatever I choose is going to ultimately create my reality. So I can either actively create my reality consciously, or I can stay disconnected from the power of creating my own reality by being controlled and consumed by the reality of others. 2026, no more influencer culture. At least not in the concept of aesthetics, with no substance, just vibes and, flexing. None of that. We're not in that era anymore. We're not in that energy anymore. This era is all about substance, it's all about purpose and intention. So, this is why we're going to see more people who were overlooked, who were downplayed. We're going to see those individuals rise, those companies, those communities, they're going to rise, right? Certain people on YouTube, not talking about me, as you see, I pretty much gave up the pressure of constantly outputting every single day. I'm not doing that anymore. I don't live like that anymore. I don't want to be in that energy, constantly outputting. No. I've been resting more. Why? Cuz I'm a fucking sage. I should rest. I don't need to be talking all the time. I don't need to be sharing all the time. And I've tapped into such a sacred frequency to the point where I recognize that I need to preserve my energy. More privacy over visibility in 2026. We're going to see more people recognize how putting everything on the internet is really not, that's not a flex. You shouldn't want everybody to know what you're doing. Think about it. Really, just really think about it. Why do you think so many people who've put their entire lives on the internet have seemingly crashed and burned? At some point, look at all of your favorite couples, your favorite influencers. You notice how at some point it all just goes to shit? Yeah, because you're giving people too much access. You don't have to be a public figure, okay, and share all your business on the internet. For those of you who are public figures, you need to think more about, why am I here showing up in the first place? Am I providing something? Am I solving a problem for a collective of people? Because if you're not doing that, then you're just making more noise, and we don't need that. Mm-mm. This is why people have become so misguided in the first place, because there's too much noise on the internet. In 2026, we're going to see more focus on skill. What can you actually do? Opposed to, oh, everybody loves you. Everybody says that you're cool. So then you're cool. No, you don't gain notoriety unless you're actually dope in real life, not just what you project on the internet. See, I told y'all before, I didn't realize that the internet was a performance space. Had I known, I would have shown up accordingly. But then again, no, I wouldn't have. Because I'm too in love with the person that I actually am to portray something different for the sake of gaining approval from motherfuckers that don't even like themselves. Hello? 2026, more community, less, oh, I got 5,000 followers. Don't nobody give a damn about 5,000 followers if that don't convert into $5,000 to pay your rent, to meet your basic needs. Because a lot of the people that you uplifted and put into positions of power don't have their shit together behind the scenes. When the cameras go off, these people hate themselves and they hate their lives. And some of them lives are in shambles. This is the year that people, again, New Year begins on March 20th. This is the year that people are not asking anymore. I need to figure out how do I go viral? Because going viral does not speak to actual support. That's why cancel culture existed. All it does, all it is you could do one thing, people rocking with you until you do one thing, say one thing that's against the grain, and ain't nobody fucking with you no more. That's dead. Cause then you gotta think about it like this. If all it took was for me to say one thing against the grain, then you didn't really support me in the first place. And then therefore I don't even want it. Pluto and Aquarius is going to be our biggest influence this year in 2026. Pluto and Aquarius is really showing this like enormous transformation for Aquarius specifically. Aquarius placements for all of humanity though, because if we remember, Aquarius, the humanitarians of the zodiac, they deal in humanity. They deal in societal issues, right? So this is why societal norms are transforming. Pluto, the planet of transformation. This is the energy of world leaders, right? And in Aquarius, they're here to shift humanity, to bring humanity to a more purposeful place. So this is when you're going to see less power within institutions and more power within networks, communities, circles, right? Also, Aquarius, they are, as we know, aliens. We are aliens, right? So, our connection to technology and the advancement, though I know a lot of us are like, AI, this, and I know, but also, if you feel that way, then get rid of your cell phone, get rid of every device that you have, because that's just where we're at. There was a point in time when, before we had cell phones, that we had that same conversation. Oh no, I'm not ready. But like, this is what evolution is all about. And this really is more so consciousness evolution. The technology is only advancing us in terms of what we can do, where we can go on a physical realm aspect. But all in all, the bigger picture is consciousness, Christ consciousness to be exact. So, with the advancement of technology, there's going to be more exposing, there's going to be more exposure of corruption specifically because Pluto. Pluto and Aquarius. What do Aquarius do? What are Aquarius known for? They're known for disrupting the system. They're known for going against the norms, right? And rightfully so. So this energy of Pluto and Aquarius is going to really put us in a space where corruption is just being exposed through technology. I mean, I don't even want to get into it because I feel like I did this when I did the Pluto return back in 2021, I think. And a lot of the stuff that I said, sure enough, came to pass with the hierarchy and all of that, right? And religious leaders being exposed and all that, right? Which I think it kind of threw me off last year when I started seeing an influx of it. I'm like, what the hell? Like when I said that, I didn't necessarily really fully grasp what I was saying. Because remember, I just, these are just streams of consciousness. When I'm saying something, um, I'm connecting it back to astrology, but even rightfully so, like I don't have the full scoop for real, because it ain't happened yet. But ultimately, bottom line is you can either participate in shaping culture, you can participate in shaping the future, or you're going to be shaped by what we doing. Okay. And I say we because I damn sure am actively participating in shaping culture and shaping the future. But there's no more room for neutrality. You will not be able to just be neutral and say, I don't have a opinion one way or the other. You're going to have to participate one way or the other, whether it's consciously or subconsciously. But either way, you win this thing. Saturn is also a huge influence in 2026, which, as we know, Saturn is all about discipline, okay, and karma, okay? So, for those who've been doing shit behind the scenes, you're going to see them, experiencing things and seemingly without really any backstory to it, right? Well, I don't know why is this person experiencing this? Well, yeah, because you ain't been living that person's life, but they know why the hell they experiencing certain things. A lot of people are going to experience a 360. So if they were living on top of the world, okay, uh living in a false narrative for some, you're gonna see that entire facade be stripped away. And some people, when it comes to their resources, okay, because Saturn definitely, it puts built to ass in a different type of way. It forces you to have to work with the bare bones, right? You don't get to have that comfort zone. You have to learn how to have integrity and move with intention. And Saturn will definitely be getting some folks together this year. Okay. Um Saturn is forcing you to have a strategy. And this is one of the biggest reasons why I put so much effort into building a system for my companies that is backed by strategy, and specifically a strategy where all people can gain something. And when I say all people, I don't mean all people, just whoever resonates, right? Because I cannot impact everybody, because there's always going to be somebody. There's going to be that one controversial individual, that one contradicting energy that has to contradict, you know. But you're going to see a lot more people be rewarded for their mastery, which means again, the underdogs are going to get opportunities to actually shine where it concerns their mastery, whatever it is that they've mastered, okay, whether it's spirituality, creativity, whatever, okay. But the focus though does go back to sustainability, because if it's not sustainable, if it's not backed with a foundation that has longevity, um it's not going to survive at all. So, we also have Uranus energy. Uranus energy is definitely playing a part. Uranus is another rulership of Aquarius. So, well, Pluto doesn't rule Aquarius, FYI. Pluto is in Aquarius, though, which is making a huge impact on us. But, anywho, Uranus, the Uranus is the weirdo planet, okay? So for those of you who have encountered an Aquarius, you think, "Oh my gosh, they're so weird. They're aliens." Yeah, yeah, yeah. That quirky energy comes from Uranus. But that quirky energy, that Aquarius embodies, is going to be a big influence on the people, though, because people realize that they can no longer rely on the old ways, the old systems, the old beliefs, right? So people are looking to Aquarius because they're the difference, right? Because they're outside of the norm. They're looking to Aquarius to kind of be a guiding light, Hey, how should we do this thing? Because clearly you're doing okay. Even though I peeped an Aquarius on Threads earlier saying that she feels like this year already, 2026 is already just hell. And I'm like, girl, please don't go there. Don't start thinking like that. Don't start speaking those types of things, because again, where focus goes, but also where you're speaking, what you're speaking is what your reality becomes too. So don't start saying that things are bad, and things don't seem like they're gonna be right for you and all this and that. You are in control of your reality. You are in control of the experiences that you have. Period. 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 Okay. uh because of the multiple recessions that we've had with- within the last 20 years, there is going to be almost like you don't have a choice but to get with this new mode of living. Okay. Just a new economic model for living, because the rental market, for instance, it's not realistic for the average person. Nobody is trying to pay $2,000 shit, even $1,000 in rent, for real, especially on a fucking planet that doesn't belong to anyone. Like, we have individuals who think that they're bigger than the program, talking about they own the rights to the water, that the condensation that falls out of the sky. Yeah, it's time for a paradigm shift for real, because these motherfuckers are insane. How you think you own anything or got the authority to speak what we gotta do, and then we just following along like, okay, whatever you say. Hello. Let's stop saying whatever they say. Let's stop believing in whatever they say. Let's stop feeling like we have to submit to whatever they say. Because just like they one day just thought up a whole new reality for us, we too are doing the same thing. And people just gonna have to follow the fuck along. You can't take us all out at all. So, anyway, new economic models, okay? New ways of living, alternative living. You notice more people are, moving out of their homes and getting vans and buses and building them shits into mobile homes. Okay. And I don't blame them. I just know that that ain't my life. I can't do it. I tried it and it ain't for me. It ain't for me. But at least I can say that I tried it. The work situation. Okay. Whew, we're not going to see people working the way they used to work. Let's just put it like that. Because I don't really know what people are going to choose. I just know that for me and mines, we've already ditched the 9 to 5, and I've created a entire system that others can, follow and use for themselves to build sustainability outside of the concept of let me go work for somebody else. And that doesn't mean that you have to be your own boss and build your own company. You just look at the system though. But you got to be a part of my company in order to get access to that. But anywho, we're going to see more creators taking positions of leadership. And when I say leadership, just more so say they're going to be more of an influence than the other people who've been in the public eye in the last several years. Okay. So, anywho, that's really the biggest gist of what I had to say. I'm gonna go through each zodiac really quickly, and then I don't know if I'm gonna do this here, but I have two people, two people in my life who are a very interesting reflection of me. Like, the similarities that we have are so similar to the point where I'm back at that exploring past lives that I was talking about when I first started this stream. And I think that I really want other people to start to explore these concepts too, but also I don't really know if I want to start sharing that here and now. But anyway, Aries, okay, and that's when the new year starts. Aries is going to be, your focus needs to be on leading responsibly, okay? Aries is the ram, all right? So as we know, they can be stubborn, but also in the grand scheme of things, if you think about it, the ram is more so just leading the way, okay, by way of action, though. Okay, Aries is a fire sign, so it's all about action, right? Um, less impulsive energy, and as a fire sign, especially in Aries, Aries are more prone to impulsive action, but 2026 is helping you to be more intentional when it comes to the actions that you take. Uh, Taurus, you're going to be redefining what security means to you in 2026. No more tangible goods, leaning on that. Like, okay, well, I just need a lot of things. You're going to be more so concerned about how can you create stability and be flexible with the way that you see stability. So, less tangible things and more, okay, well, if I just get one of these and then build a small house, and you're going to be looking at redefining what security is. So, thinking of more unconventional ways of living. Okay. Gemini. Gemini, your 2026 is going to be all about you speaking with intention. You're recognizing now that you do have a great influence, a great impact on uh greater humanity as well, and you're recognizing that your words are shaping culture now. So whatever it is that you were saying before and people weren't listening to you, they're going to be listening now. I promise. Cancer, you're going to learn boundaries in 2026. You're going to learn how to protect your energy and not try to protect people's feelings first. It's more so about you protecting your energy over everything. So, um yeah, if you are finding yourself in positions where people are becoming agitated with you, or saying, oh, you're acting different, or why you being mean, hey, 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 don't let them project on you, okay? Because they're really just gaslighting you. They don't like this new version that you're becoming because you are setting these boundaries that are necessary. Leo, this year, and I understand. I understand. I do. You get a bad rep for being attention seeking, but these are people who just don't understand you. Okay, but I feel like in 2026 people are gonna start to understand you better. They're gonna start to recognize that, like, you are the sun, so you just naturally are illuminated, and you bring that sunshine energy. So it's not about and yeah, you do love you some attention, sure, but like it's not that though. You're always going to attract attention just because of the essence that you exude. Okay, so people are gonna stop saying that Leo is so fake, and well, maybe they won't stop saying that because there's always those contrary ones, like I said. But I feel like more people are going to recognize that it's not performance. They're going to recognize that this is just who you are. Virgo, I'm gonna keep this real simple for you, Virgo. No more perfectionism. And that's that on that, okay? Especially when it comes to things that don't really actually matter. No more perfectionism, period, point blank. Libra, mm, this is a big one for you, Libra. You're no longer seeking approval. And, some Libras may say, I was never seeking approval. Shh, 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 shh. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. This is a safe space, Bookie. You are going to be focused on what is in alignment opposed to what is keeping everybody happy. Period, point blank. Okay. Um, you're going to be focusing on your own alignment opposed to everybody else's. I get it. You have those two rulers as well, which forces you to play devil's advocate and want to save people, and but hell no, not in 2026. Okay. You're choosing alignment over everything. Scorpio, with Pluto being in Aquarius, and woo, with Pluto being in Aquarius, I feel like a couple things are going to happen. First of all, I feel like you're going to become more radical in 2026, but I also feel like you're going to become more transparent. You're going to step out of your comfort zone. There's no more we know Scorpio, you love to hide in the dark and all that good stuff, but like your true power is in transparency, okay? So there's no longer a need for you to keep things secret, like you recognize that more transparency is the way, okay? So because secrecy doesn't necessarily equal protection, you know. Eh, in fact, I feel like it does the opposite. People encounter you, and then they realize how secretive you are, and they see you as an enigma, and then you become a conquest in their mind. They're like, let me find out everything. So, anywho, Sagittarius, this is more so you're gonna be teaching through lived experience opposed to your belief. Because Sagittarius, I love you. Okay, I do. I love me a Sagittarius. I love the way that you are so vast with information, and you're a scholar. You love to learn things, and I get it. And so because you have such an expansive mind, it's like you can have all these different beliefs, right? But your power is going to be in you teaching people through what you actually have lived, opposed to, man, I went to school for 62 years and 62 years is crazy. Capricorn, whew, this is big, Capricorn. I don't know. You may not like me when I say this. You're gonna have to, and this is all because of the Pluto return. I'm gonna be honest. Um, you're gonna have to earn your authority all over again in 2026. You have to understand that because of everything that happened in from 2020, I'm just gonna say from 2020 to 2025, it really took credibility away from you. But you're gonna regain that, but by way of earning it, and that's that. Okay. Okay. Aquarius, it's simple. You're building the future, period. And you can either actively build the future, Aquarius, or you need to step aside, okay? Because we got places to go. Okay. So you don't have to step up, and you know you don't got to do it. But if you ain't gonna do it, please get the hell out the way, okay? For any Aquarius that feel like they don't resonate with building the future. They don't want to be the leaders. I'm tired. Okay, I get it. Uh-huh. I was tired too. But something just snapped into me, and I just realized that I got shit to do. And I've been thinking about this since I was a little girl. So it's like, oh my gosh, this is the moment that I've been waiting for. Everybody's not going to feel that way though. This don't resonate with everybody, and that's fine. Again, if that ain't you, please get the hell out the way. Okay? And last but not least, Pisces, it's time for you to get grounded in 2026. You have to learn how to listen. Everybody knows that Pisces are very magical beings. You are ruled by Neptune, the planet of dreams. So everything is so dreamy and magical and woo. But also, that mystical energy is something that you're going to have to find how, you're going to have to learn how to root that energy. Okay? Or it's almost just kind of going to go away, because this is the time for practical action now. No more dreams, okay? Now it's time for fluid, solid action, excuse me. Solid action. action backed by strategy, not impulsivity. So Pisces, you're gonna have to learn how to come back down to earth. Okay, I get it. This shit is weird sometimes, but that's what it is. Okay. So anywho, I think that that's it. That's all I got to say. Um, Listen, it's gonna be a beautiful 2026 if you allow it to be that. Okay, your mindset and how you are choosing to look at things is gonna be what makes all the difference. Um, 2026 isn't. It's not about you becoming anymore. It's about, okay, what are you willing to build right now? Like, you had all this time to become. Okay, you've had all these lessons. Now, what are you going to do with all the tools that you've accumulated during the lessons? And also, who do you want to build with? So what are you going to build, and who are you going to build with? And if you don't know those things, you need to start thinking about them now. Listen, we at the beginning of January, so you got plenty of time to really root yourself in these understandings of what it is that you want to build, and who your people are too. Okay, and you know yourself, so you know who your people are. And if you don't know yourself, well, this message wasn't even for you in the first place. But anywho, that's it. I hope you guys have a powerful, powerful 2026. I know I will. And I will catch you again whenever I tap in. Ciao.